Hello everybody and welcome back to another action figure review. Today we're going to take a look at Hot Toys Hellboy from the 2019 movie with David Harbour here in the title role. And, well, of course it always helps if you are a fan of Hellboy, or like me, just like these demon-like fantasy characters. But I have to say that if you're looking for something more or less spectacular or unusual from Hot Toys, you should check this figure out, because it's kind of nothing like I've seen before. But before we take a closer look at Hellboy here, let's take a look at all the stuff he comes with. Now bear with me if I am going through this rather quickly, because we have a lot to cover. There are 3 Hands of Dooms provided with the figure here. This one has bendy wire articulation, and the other here are to hold the sword and a fist. We also have a selection of hands for the other one. Everything is looking really good. Nice sculpt, and one of the hands here has this, I don't know, glove kind of thing. And other than that, all the other hands are just regular red hands. Then we have 2 guns, one here, a mix of a pistol and a pump gun. And we have the take on the Samaritan here. We have 2 bracelets, one on the figure, and a communicator that you can put in his belt. Then we have his flaming crown that you can attach on the back of the figure, 2 full-size horns. We have a regular Excalibur where you can put this flame effect on. And then we have the Excalibur full flaming sword here with the effect. Then we have individual flaming effects over here. We have an entire extra look with a tank top and a coat. Then we have the base here, Hellboy. And of course we also have the instruction. And finally, if you want to, you can display your Hellboy figure with this backdrop that you also get included in the box. Now I'm going to focus on the body of the figure for a minute here, because this really reminds me of the Fison bodies here. No visible joints, and I really appreciate that Hot Toys have made this figure without any visible joints on the upper part of the body, because if there had been visible joints, I don't think I would have bought the figure. I really appreciate and like this look where you can see all the sculpted details and see the muscles of the arms moving more or less naturally when you articulate the figure. And there is a price, because the articulation is limited. We'll get back to that later. But besides the upper part of the body here, we have a very nicely detailed belt here with pouches, holster for the gun, and all the stuff that Hellboy uses in the movie. And all the way down to his boots here, also a very nice sculpt. Here we have the Hand of the Doom, again looking exactly like in the movie. And if we turn the figure around, on the back here we have his tail here, and also the hair, sculpted hair. Again, I appreciate that look, but it also limits the articulation. And I think the likeness here of Hellboy David Harbour is on point. And I also think that Hot Toys chose a cool expression for the figure, but of course it's a matter of taste. Now what I think is the very best aspect of this figure is that you have more or less 3 different display options with this figure. First of all, you have this, what I would call the classic Hellboy option, with his upper part of the body, his Samaritan, everything looking just like Hellboy should, in my opinion. But you also have the opportunity to create the more detective noir kind of look with his long coat. And finally, you have the long horns and all the fire and the crown if you want to have this full-on demon look from the movie as well. So 3 different options. I really like that. So if you want to change the look of the figure, you can of course remove the hands here. It's very easy. Also the other hand, and you can easily, if you turn the figure around here, switch his hair here on the back and put his crown on like this. And then you need the horns, and they are tricky. So I'm going to remove the small horns here and put in the larger ones, and then I'll get back. So here we have what I call the full-on demon look for Hellboy, with his long horns, flaming crown, flaming sword, and if you want to, the flaming effects here on his base. And, well, this is a really cool look, exactly as he looked in the movie. And as I mentioned, it takes a little work with the horns here, but it's absolutely possible. And you can also use the regular version of Excalibur instead of the flaming one. And if you want to put these effects on, you can wrap them around the blade like this and also create a cool effect on this sword. And here we have the final look for Hellboy here, with his coat and his t-shirt here that have buttons in the side, so it's easy to put on the figure. And the same goes for the coat here, with bendy wire down here and also room for the tail. So everything here is really nicely made, a lot of good solutions that works fine. It's easy to remove the Hand of Doom when you put on the coat. It's easy to remove the head and so on. So if we look at the articulation here, as I mentioned in the beginning, it kind of suffers from the choices, but that's okay. This is a display figure, not a crazy pose action figure. Of course, it's still able to move, but the head movement here is very limited by the sculpted hair. The arms go up with ratchet joints like this, and it looks awesome, but the movability, as I mentioned, is restricted. You can bend about 90 degrees, and they go forward like this, but as you can see, they kind of jump back. You don't have much body movement, but you can turn the body a little and of course also lean forward and back. The leg articulation is fine, no restrictions actually, unless we talk about the ankle articulation here, which is limited by the sculpted boot. Then we have the bendy wire tail, and we also have one of the hands here with bendy wire fingers. And here we have a size comparison next to the TB League Death Dealer figure, which is the only figure in my collection that I really think I can compare Hellboy to here. And it's a large and it's a heavy figure. And it features some of the same solutions, with the upper part of the body here without joints, as we know from the Fison bodies. And Hellboy is the largest of the two, so it is a tall and solid and massive figure you get if you go for the Hot Toys Hellboy. For now, I'm going to leave you with my opinion about this figure, and then I'll conclude this review. Well, let's wrap up the review of Hot Toys Hellboy here. This is not a figure you see every day, not from Hot Toys, not from anywhere. So if you value a really solid, cool looking piece here with several display options and a lot of great engineering, then go check out this Hellboy figure. I'm not going completely up there with 5 stars, because there are also a few solutions, like primarily the articulation on the feet here and also the upper part of the body, that Fison is able to do better. But I still appreciate that Hot Toys did this kind of figure for Hellboy, because he looks amazing. Thanks a lot for watching this review. Leave a comment and subscribe if you'd like to see more.